Hello Internet, I'm
Bolshevik!
and welcome to a video about motorcycles. This video, very specifically, is assuming that you know nothing about motorcycles other than that you think you really want one. This is something you should watch before you ever even buy a motorcycle or anything. Now, most of you probably already know that you want a motorcycle or have one. In that case, there are two other videos I'm planning to make addressing those topics. But this would be one of three, and this is for those of you who don't have and are thinking about getting a bike versus those of you who are trying to get into riding, and then three, you are riding, and there's some stuff for you. This is for those people. Just wanted to talk to you while I'm sitting here in the living room chilling. This video is going to be really chill. In fact, I don't think I'm even going to put any music on it. I just want it to be straightforward. Now, why am I making this video? You guys have requested this for a long time, I think. And while I don't think I'm a professional at riding, I've been riding for 10 years now, and I would place myself at an experienced rider versus beginner and professional. That might be up to you. That being said, I'm certain that you can get way more valuable information from far more qualified people. That doesn't mean I'm without my qualifications, and with that, half of what you're going to hear is my experience. The other half is just how it is. And the just how it is parts of what I say are more so true for the next two videos I'd be doing. But let's just start here. They're cheap and they're fast. Also, and we'll get into this later, it's its own activity, much like how you might like kayaking or hiking. Motorcycle is its own activity. It's not the cheapest of hobbies. There are more expensive ones, but it's a hobby, or it can be. At the end of this, it gets to a lifestyle, which is where I'm at personally. I will love motorcycles for all time. I ride regularly, and it's part of me. So I'm not trying to indoctrinate you into becoming that way. It can be something that you do rarely, or it could be daily, and there's varying degrees of that. So they're faster than cars, per dollar that is. And while they're cheaper up front, they cost more to maintain. Also, motorcycles are just cool. They're so cool. In a way, motorcycles are a luxury item, or they're an accessory, or they're a way of expressing yourself. There are several reasons why someone might want to get a motorcycle, but the main reason is probably because you think that they're cool, and motorcycles are just cool. The game. For most people, driving is a chore. It's the thing that gets between them and Taco Bell. It's an obstacle to overcome, it's an inconvenience. Most people, I would think, given the opportunity, would rather teleport to where they need to go instantaneously. For others like myself, I think of driving as a game. It's the driving to Taco Bell that I look forward to just as much as, if not more, than a cheesy gordita crunch. If you're like most people, and your car is your boat, and that's another term I use. A boat is the thing that gets you from A to B. It doesn't matter what it looks like, how pretty it is. It gets you. It's your teleporter. For most people, driving is a chore, and for those people, you're missing out. You could be having a lot of fun. I also think of driving as a game because there are rules. There are boundaries you have to drive in. If you're talking about street legal stuff, not off-road stuff, as an example. And there's right on red, yielding, following distance, signaling, traffic ordinances. It's a game, kind of. And a lot of us people will play that game and push the rules a little bit. We might speed a bit. We'll do a little bit to try to push the rules a bit, but not get kicked out or ticketed in the game. Motorcycle as a controller. When people ask me what it's like to ride, this is the first thing I think of. If driving is a game, I think of a motorcycle as a controller. You may drive with a car and you know the game of driving and you play it with a car, and let's call a car a controller. Versus if you play the game with a motorcycle, same game, same rules, but a totally different controller, and depending on you, it might be a completely different experience. You might hate playing the game of driving. It might be a chore to you, but maybe if you played it on a keyboard, maybe if you changed the controller, you would suddenly love this game. So motorcycle as a controller can be a way of playing the game differently, and it can make it awesome for you. Motorcycle as a game. You may like driving cars. You may like riding bicycles. And you might think that means you would like riding motorcycles, but that is not the case. They are all different activities in the end, and some people will like riding motorcycles and some people won't. That being said, I hope you give motorcycles a try. You may not know. You may think you don't like it, and maybe you do. The opposite might be true. You might think it would be great because, for example, you ride a bicycle, you like going fast. Well, surely I'd like being on a motorcycle. Maybe you don't. So while I like to think of a motorcycle as a controller, it really is its own game sometimes. Motorcycle as a tool. The first thing to say about this is if you have a motorcycle, you should have a car. Motorcycles aren't meant to replace cars. Like I said, in a way, they're a luxury item, they're an accessory. That's not to say that you can't use a motorcycle in place of a car. In fact, if you do ride, I challenge you to live on a motorcycle for a few months or a year. I've done it personally, and it was an experience, and it was difficult, but I'm very glad that I did. Again, not necessary, and I would recommend if, for example, you're thinking about getting a motorcycle, don't think it's going to replace a car, because it won't. Motorcycles, like cars, are designed to do certain things. And there are few motorcycles, if any, that are designed to replace cars. The point is it's supplementary. Don't think that a motorcycle that costs $1,000 is going to replace your car that costs $10,000 and you'll be just as well off without the car. Motorcycle as a lifestyle. Like everything else, motorcycles have pros and cons. And if you love motorcycles enough, you will live with the cons. I personally love motorcycles so much that I lived with the cons of a motorcycle by not having a car and its pros to use. There was a period of about 6 months where I drove one of my motorcycles through the winter. Pretty dumb. And I did it almost explicitly because I just felt like it. That's me and a lot of other people who have motorcycles feel the same way. And the point is that some of us love motorcycles so much that we'll take every opportunity that we can to be on one because it's just such an enjoyable experience, and we'll subjugate ourselves to unnecessary sometimes cons, like getting on a motorcycle 5 in the morning below zero with snow and get on the highway and go to work. That might be a phase for you. You might do that for 6 months and then go, yeah, I'm going to use the car next time. That might be something you have no interest in ever doing. That might be something you do for the rest of your life. I don't know. It's varying degrees of passion, like all hobbies. It's something to enjoy. And if you're thinking about getting into it, it's pretty awesome. I think you may not. If you were just somebody who doesn't ride and you ask me why I love motorcycles, it's a hard question to answer because it's like a feeling. And I can list all the pros. They're relatively inexpensive compared to cars that go the same speed. It never gets old, I don't think. And there's so many different ways to ride, and there's so many different kinds of motorcycles to ride. They're cool as heck. And like other hobbies or pastimes, I think the people that you meet in the riding community are almost always awesome. And the experiences that you get, aside from just riding the motorcycle itself, are really cool. At the end of the day, a motorcycle, between being a controller, a game, a tool, or a lifestyle, it's a hobby at the end of the day. And if it's a hobby you want to pick up, then I hope I can point you in the right direction. And that's what the next 2 videos would be for. But this is just a quick kind of overview of what is riding, why should I do it. I know this video is probably short, there wasn't much to say. Lots to say though in the next 2 videos if I do them, so please let me know if you want them. And if you want 2 more videos, the next one would be specifically how to get into riding. So that might be what kind of motorcycle you should get, how to get a motorcycle, what to expect looking for one, what that entails, like licensing and learning how to ride. So if you're interested in those things, or if you have questions specifically, please write them down so that I can try to specifically address some of the questions that you might have, so that hopefully with things that I know, I can point you guys in the right direction. Well, thank you guys for watching. Hope that I was helpful. I know this is vague. I'm saying goodbye now, so hopefully I'll see you in the next video. I cracked my finger when I did that.